When someone you love walks out of your life, it's a painful experience that leaves a mark. You invest time, energy, and emotions into the relationship, only for it to end in uncertainty or heartbreak. It's hard to fully move on when there's always the possibility, no matter how faint, that they might come back. And sometimes they do. After days, weeks, or even months, they suddenly return, eager to reconnect. But when that happens, one question inevitably arises. Are they truly sorry, or are they just lonely? At first glance, their return may seem like a second chance, an opportunity to heal old wounds and rebuild what was lost. You might feel that familiar rush of excitement and hope, imagining that this time things will be different, that this time the relationship will work. But before jumping back into the emotional roller coaster, it's crucial to ask yourself, what has really changed? When someone leaves, it's often because there were issues in the relationship that couldn't be resolved at the time. Maybe it was something small that snowballed into something bigger, or maybe it was a deeper incompatibility. Either way, the reason they left was a sign that something wasn't right. And when they return, it's natural to want to believe that they've had time to reflect and change. But the reality is that people don't always change in the ways we hope or expect. It's easy to assume that their return signals a sincere apology and a desire for reconciliation. But is that really the case? Or are they just seeking comfort in the familiar because they're lonely and uncertain? There's a fine line between genuine remorse and temporary loneliness. Think about it. How often do we make decisions based on our emotions, especially when we're feeling vulnerable or isolated? It's possible that they've missed the companionship, the intimacy, or simply the routine of being in a relationship. It's comforting, after all, to return to something that once brought happiness, even if the reasons behind the breakup were never fully addressed. Before you let them back in, it's important to take a step back and ask yourself why they're returning. Are they apologizing for the right reasons, or are they simply reaching out because they're struggling with being alone? Genuine remorse is about understanding the pain caused and taking responsibility for it. It's not about wanting someone to fill a void in their life. True growth comes from introspection and an effort to change behaviors, not just a quick fix to end loneliness. You may feel torn between the person you loved and the person they are now, or the person they claim to be now. Their words may sound sincere, but actions always speak louder than words. Have they taken the time to understand their mistakes? Are they showing tangible effort to change? Or is their apology just an empty gesture to get back in your life? Relationships thrive on trust, and when that trust is broken, it takes time to rebuild. If they're coming back only because they feel lost or bored, rather than because they've genuinely reflected on the past and want to make amends, you could find yourself in the same painful cycle. Sometimes, people return because they realize they made a mistake, but other times, they return because they don't want to face the discomfort of being alone. It's critical to recognize whether they're coming back to make things right or simply because they're lonely. As much as you might want to believe in their promises and rekindle the relationship, you also need to protect your heart. Take time to listen to your own feelings. How do you truly feel about their return? Are you hoping they've changed because you're afraid to let go of the connection you once had? Or do you genuinely believe they're committed to doing the work needed for the relationship to succeed? Sometimes we want to believe in something so badly that we ignore red flags, convincing ourselves that this time will be different. But the truth is, if the core issues that led to the breakup aren't addressed, it's likely that history will repeat itself. The other important question to ask is whether their return is making you feel better about yourself. Are they bringing positivity, healing, and genuine care into your life? Or do you feel as though you're simply filling a role in their life because they are lonely or struggling? Relationships should be about mutual growth and support, not about trying to patch up an emotional void for someone else. It's not easy, but sometimes you need to let go of the person you thought they would be and see them for who they are now. You've grown since the breakup, and your needs and desires may have changed as well. While their return may seem like a chance to revisit old dreams, the reality is that the best relationships are those that are built on mutual respect, understanding, and commitment, not on the fear of being alone. At the end of the day, you deserve someone who wants to be with you not out of loneliness, but out of genuine love and admiration. If your ex is returning because they want to create something real and lasting, they'll show it through their actions and efforts. But if they're simply looking for comfort in a familiar place, then it's time to carefully consider whether that's something you truly want for yourself. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to walk away and trust that better things are ahead.